Hi, my name is Igor, and today I'm going to present our work, The Log Rolls On, Hybrid Search with Same Category Targets and Distractors. And let me start with explaining the hybrid search. This is a task where you have to look for items from a list in your memory among other items in the visual environment. So, for example, I can ask you to memorize these two items, or maybe four of them, or 16, or 100, and so on, and then to find any of them in a visual set. And what we know about performance in such a task is that the reaction time typically grows logarithmically as a function of memory set size. This pattern is highly robust and suggests that memory search is not strictly serial and probably involves some of parallel processing. I should note that this log pattern was found in studies using highly distinct objects from unrelated basic categories as stimuli, like in the left picture. And in our present study, we ask, what happens if objects are not that distinct? Does the log function survive if observers search for multiple exemplars of the same category, like in the right picture? Or alternatively, does exemplar search require serial, which means linear search through memory due to item similarity? And we tested this in 3 experiments. Let me show you experiments 1 and 2 first. Both experiments started with a study phase where observers had to just learn a memory set from 4 to 32 items long. The memory set consisted either of all unrelated objects or of multiple exemplars from the same object category, as I showed on the previous slide. Then a test phase followed. In experiment 1, it was the memory search task. That is, observers saw objects one by one and had to respond to each object whether it belonged to the memory set or not. And in experiment 2, it was a hybrid search task. That is, observers had to answer whether a set of 4 or 8 objects, visual objects, contained a target from their memory set or not. And here are the results. What we can see in both experiments is that RTs are incremental functions of memory set size and that search for exemplars was always slower than the search for unrelated objects. Both findings make sense. But we are inconclusive regarding the log or linear shape of these functions. As you can see in experiment 1, it could be both linear and log, and we think that this can be the problem of a small visual set size, which was actually set size 1. It just doesn't give enough increment to distinguish between the two predicted shapes. And in experiment 2, we had another problem, speed accuracy trade-off. We found that large memory sets produced a combination of too many errors and very flat RT-MSS functions. So we're not sure about the shape again. And in experiment 3, we tried to fix these issues and we used a so-called hybrid novelty search task that was easier and more engaging for participants. Here, on each trial, you have to find a single new never seen object, while distractors are always objects that you have seen at least once in any of the previous trials. So here, memory set size grows with the serial order of trials. We tested from 4 to 64 items in total. We also employed localization responses, that is mouse clicks on the target, instead of yes, no, to drop the number of errors down. And we tested over 100 observers online for better reliability. And finally, our results were more conclusive. In the left figure, you can see that both unrelated objects and exemplars produce functions that are obviously more log than linear. And if we use small memory set RTs to predict large memory set RTs, assuming a linear function, you can see that this prediction totally fails to account for the data. But if we make a log linear prediction based on small memory set sizes, then we can see that it works much better, although the function is still slightly flatter than the prediction. And this is again due to some speed accuracy trade-off. It looks like that it is hard indeed to perfectly distinguish between similar exemplars when there are like over 30 of them in your memory. But even if this case you can do your memory search and you can do it logarithmically rather than linearly or totally serially, which is actually amazing. And now let me move to conclusions. So what we found is that memory and hybrid searches of relatively similar objects are generally slower and harder than those of distinct unrelated objects. But critically, the logarithmic character of memory search is robust and generalizes to the fine resolution same category hybrid search. That's it for today, and thank you very much for watching.